Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our session about careers at Planned Parenthood. My name is Sharon Dudash. I'm the Vice President of Patient Services for Planned Parenthood, Great Northwest, Hawaii, Indiana, and Kentucky, and Idaho. And today we're just going to share a little bit about our careers, and I've invited a few of my colleagues to also share a little bit about their path to working at Planned Parenthood and their health services journey. So I want to start by just saying that Planned Parenthood, if you're not already aware, is a nonprofit organization. We have three aspects to our organization. We call it the three legs or the three arms of our mission, which are political advocacy, education and outreach, and health services. The four of us here today work in health services, which is our clinical services operations part of the organization, which is the main part of our organization. And we provide reproductive health care services to a wide variety of patients in the several states that we operate in, our affiliate. Planned Parenthood is a national organization run by Planned Parenthood Federation of America. And we also provide reproductive health services and education and outreach in many countries across the globe. The affiliate that we represent is one of the largest affiliates in the United States, representing 6 states: Alaska, Idaho, Hawaii, Indiana, Kentucky, and we have several health centers in the central Washington area. We also have volunteer positions. So we're going to talk to you about the healthcare jobs that we have, but I do want you to be aware that there are a wide range of jobs available and career opportunities available in the other arms of our mission. And in a few minutes, I will show you a couple of examples of what types of jobs are available. I am trying to advance my slide, and that doesn't want to work, so we'll go this way. We do have a Planned Parenthood website. You're welcome to visit, just type in plannedparenthood.org, and you'll be directed to options to see all job openings across the United States, or in a particular region. You can see what jobs are available at particular health centers in certain communities, as well as the job openings in the other departments that I mentioned earlier. And it's very easy to click on the openings and see what's available with the job description for the actual duties that are involved with the job. At Planned Parenthood, I think my colleagues would all agree that the work that we do is very meaningful. Every day we're providing very important sexual and reproductive health and education services. And as I mentioned, there are many affiliates, and you can see here there are 600 affiliate health centers across the United States. And our goal is to help ensure that everyone has access to reproductive and sexual health care in the United States. So as I mentioned, the website, you can find a job near you. We feel like we're part of a family. Many of the staff are very dedicated to our mission. We have a lot of passion for the care that we provide. We are serving a diverse population and patients who really need us in some communities that do not have access to the type of care that we provide. We take pride in providing confidential care and being respectful of all people and being respectful of the various needs that individuals bring to us, and that we are making a really positive contribution to the community and to the health of families and individuals. So here is an example of a website page that has jobs listed by locations, and you can see that they're listed by state. And within each state, there are several affiliates. The Planned Parenthood here in this region with the 6 states that I mentioned is one affiliate, but there are affiliates by state. As you can see in California, for example, there are 4 different affiliates listed here. So although we are all part of the Planned Parenthood family, each Planned Parenthood affiliate is operated separately, but we all operate under the auspices of the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. One benefit to working at Planned Parenthood is if you work at a Planned Parenthood center or job in one state, you would probably be highly valuable should you move to another state and want to work at a Planned Parenthood center there. And we'll share some examples of what that means in a moment. I wanted to just share a few examples of certain job postings that we have available. As you see here, this is an example of most of our positions being related to health services. We hire lots of medical assistants. We need lots of medical assistants. They are a highly valuable part of our team. Our medical assistants support our clinician providers, which include nurse practitioners, medical doctors, physician's assistants, registered nurses, but most of them are nurse practitioners, and we need our medical assistants to help keep our clinicians on schedule and help provide patient education. And they're just, I can't stress enough how important a part of the medical assistants are to the success of our team and the care that we provide our patients. Our patients are so grateful for the skill and knowledge that our medical assistants are able to provide. We hire medical receptionists. We have health center managers, of which the 4 of us have all been, and some still are, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And as you can see, these job postings are everywhere. We are currently, this is a recent post, so we're currently looking for medical assistants in Northgate, Seattle, and in Anchorage, Alaska. These are some really good examples of postings. I wanted to share a couple of other positions that are reflective of the other departments and the other arms of our mission that I mentioned earlier. For example, we have a marketing department. So right now we are recruiting for somebody who has digital engagement and web design skills. And this particular posting is looking for an intern. That's not something probably that most people would think of when they think of Planned Parenthood. But this is a great example of other career opportunities at Planned Parenthood outside of healthcare. You can also see that we're currently looking for an engagement coordinator to work with our fundraising department. We have lots of donors at Planned Parenthood, and so obviously we need strong team members who work with fundraising. And you'll also see right now we have a position open in Hawaii for a medical assistant phlebotomy at our Kahului clinic. Just a few more examples. A field organizer, which works with our political arm. In Linwood right now, we're actually looking for a medical assistant, and we have a sign-on bonus that we're offering for that position. We recruit a lot of nurse practitioners. We have trained many of our staff who started as medical receptionists or medical assistants, who decided to go to nursing school because they were so inspired by working with the staff at our clinics. They've gone on to become registered nurses, LPNs, nurse practitioners, and many of our staff have come back to work at a Planned Parenthood center after graduating and becoming a nurse practitioner. And here's the last post I'll show you, which is a director of equity and inclusion and community engagement we're currently hiring for in Seattle. So just a little bit about myself, and then my colleagues will share just a little bit, and we'll take your questions. I'm currently the Vice President of Patient Services, as I mentioned earlier, but I actually started my career at Planned Parenthood as a medical receptionist many years ago. And while I was working there, I became interested in what was happening in the back office. And I wanted to know what was going on, and I wanted to run those tests and learn how to draw blood and give injections. So I did that, and I became a medical assistant. And I did that for quite a few years, working front and back office. And somewhere in between that, I decided that I was going to get married, and I had a baby. I went to nursing school. I did not finish because I had another baby. Life circumstances, as I'm sure many of you can relate to. But I always maintained my interest in patient care, and I was good at it. And the supervisors above me recognized my passion and commitment and dedication. And I was hardworking. I showed up to work on time every day with a positive attitude. And I was promoted to become a team leader, which was a supervisory role over the other staff. And I was in that role for a few years when a clinic manager position opened up. And this was at a different Planned Parenthood affiliate. I've worked for 3 different Planned Parenthood affiliates. This is the 3rd one. And this was at the 2nd Planned Parenthood in California. And a supervisor actually asked me to apply for a clinic manager role because they saw my potential. So I became a clinic manager. I was a clinic manager for many years. I continued to work in the health center during that time alongside my staff. And I've been promoted since then. I became a regional director of several health centers. And I served in that role for several years before becoming the role that I'm in currently. And even in the role that I'm in now, I am still very deeply emotionally tied to my medical assistant past and the staff that work in our health centers. I understand what they do. I care about what they do. I so appreciate what our health center teams do because of my early start as a medical receptionist all those years ago. So now I'm going to have Christine Smith introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her story.
Everybody, my name is Christine Smith, and my path is very different than Sharon's. I actually started my career in mental health counseling and foster care when I graduated with a degree in business and psychology. I worked in that field for a long time, and then I moved from one corner of the country to the other. And when I got to Washington, it was really important for me to find work with a very mission-driven, people, justice, diversity type of company. And that's how I landed at Planned Parenthood, because I think we are well-rounded in all of those areas. I started out as a health center manager in one of our clinics and was there for a while, where I learned everything Planned Parenthood way. And then at that time also, I went to graduate school and got my MPA degree, because we are very politically driven in a lot of ways, and an MPA degree helps make you just a well-rounded person. I was then promoted to a regional director, and I oversee several of our health centers in Washington. I also oversee some centers in Idaho and our patient access center, and also our PP Direct app that's in the App Store. I have really enjoyed my time at Planned Parenthood, and what I enjoy the most is having new people join our family. and really figuring out where their talents and strengths are, and then really maximizing them and really supporting the growth and development of the staff that work here. As Sharon mentioned, we have several different departments. We work with HR, where we have lots of job postings, with marketing. We have an IT department. We have a clinical apps department. We do have our online services and some of our tech stuff. And then we also have our clinics. And I'm sure there's more, but it is a really big family with a lot of different departments. So anybody that's looking to work for Planned Parenthood and isn't inspired even in the health field, there's a place for you here, because marketing is a really big part of promoting and being part of our mission. So there's just lots of different avenues in which you can come in and start working with us here. And once you come, if you want to grow and develop in your role, and you let those of us in the leadership know that those are your desires, we will absolutely help you get where you want to grow in the company. And we're very much invested in that. That's what I'd like to share today. And I think next up is Minerva. I'm not sure if it's Minerva or Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. I'm the health center manager in Honolulu, Hawaii. Before starting to work with Planned Parenthood, I was in college. I obtained an AA degree in business technology, which led me into becoming a medical assistant. I was hired on as a medical assistant with Planned Parenthood, and I was so ecstatic. I was so happy that I got a job with Planned Parenthood. And this was on Maui in Hawaii. I cross-trained. I was back office, front office. I was all over the clinic. And then I got promoted to become a team leader, which I train staff. I oversee the MAs, the clinic, the flow. And then there was an opening for a manager for the Maui clinic that I was a team lead at. I was encouraged to apply for that position, which helped me a lot, and it helped me grow into the person and the manager I am today, and helped me expand my skills and knowledge for a bigger clinic here at Honolulu. And I was encouraged to apply at the Honolulu Health Center. And this just shows how much growth you can have in a company and how much they believe and support you. And that's why I'm with this company forever. And the mission, we're mission driven. The diversity of patients we see and serve, racial, ethnic diversity, we're just open to everyone. And Planned Parenthood is an awesome company to work for.
Thank you, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
Minerva.
Hi, my name is Minerva. I am the health center manager at the Boise Planned Parenthood, and I am brand new as health center manager. But I'll tell you a little bit about kind of where I came from. I spent about 10 years at the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, working in child welfare, developmental disabilities, foster care, adoption, all that sort of social services kind of thing. It's always been important for me to work for a place that helps people in a real way and affects their lives. And so I spent about 10 years there, learning a lot about policies and procedures and politics and how all of that flows, along with all the bureaucratic red tape that comes along with it. I decided I needed a change from that, and so I left that, and then I started working for a local ambulance company. So it was still in the same vein of helping people, a little bit more hands-on, in that the needs were a little bit more emergent than at health and welfare, but still able to impact people's lives in a positive way. And then in 2018, I was in a car accident. A car ran a red light and hit my car. And because of that accident, I suffered a complicated concussion, the ramifications of which included losing my job. I was basically in bed for the better part of 5 months, and not really sure what was going to happen with my life and what I was going to do. And I was starting to think about how to get back on track. And I have a very close friend who had been trying to get me to apply for jobs at Planned Parenthood for a couple of years, and I just hadn't done it. And she saw that I was struggling not only with whether or not I had the abilities after the car accident and the concussion to work a full day and function normally, but also my worry about being openly trans, especially in a place like Idaho, where we are very conservative. Your path can sometimes narrow if you don't fit a certain type of person. And so she talked me into it, and I applied. I was initially going to apply for health center manager at that time, but I wasn't sure that I could handle something of that magnitude yet. And so I decided to apply for a medical receptionist position so I could learn Planned Parenthood sort of from the ground up, could learn about the culture, see how healthcare happens within Planned Parenthood, and learn things the Planned Parenthood way. And I knew about the gender affirming work that Planned Parenthood had started doing. So I knew Planned Parenthood was already, body positive and sex positive, and happy to help anybody who comes to us in need. So that already appealed to me. And I have really enjoyed my time as medical receptionist and seeing how the work that we're doing impacts people's lives in a very real, often poignant way, in a place like Idaho where options can seem so limited and acceptance can seem fleeting. So being able to see that every day makes coming to work so much richer, and seeing all the people who are devoted to that mission and making sure that healthcare happens is inspiring. So when the healthcare or the health center manager position opened, I jumped at the opportunity. I ran it by a couple people who I worked with, just like clinician wise, and because I didn't want to think that like I had a lofty ambition, and I was just met with nothing but supportive people who saw the potential in me and saw my strengths and talents. And my entire experience at Planned Parenthood has been the happiest I have ever been working anywhere. You can tell that like people don't just accept you on paper, they accept you in reality and are happy to have you there, just as you are and just as who you are. And I have really loved jumping in to being a health center manager and seeing another side of things that drives the reason decisions are made and how things run. And I look forward every day to learning something new, and I have been. So I love Planned Parenthood, and I'm proud to work for Planned Parenthood.
Thank you so much, Minerva. Christine and Chelsea and Minerva, I really appreciate you sharing your very personal story and sharing, how wonderful it is really to work at Planned Parenthood, grow at Planned Parenthood, and learn. We pride ourselves on being in a place of learning. All of us are learning. I've worked for Planned Parenthood now and have been in reproductive health care now for more than a few decades. And I'm still always learning and will always be learning. So I appreciate that. So we'd love to take questions from you in our last few minutes, if you have them.
Thank you so much, everyone. If students, if you can drop a question in the chat, we've got a couple minutes, but I just wanted to, a few things that stood out to me during your presentation, really hearing about how that mission-driven work came through in all of your stories. And then also the opportunities that have come your way in your work with Planned Parenthood. Do you think that those two things are really unique to Planned Parenthood, where you are surrounded by people that that care about that mission and then also kind of see the opportunity to grow within the organization?
Yes, I'll start by saying that I was 20 years old when I became a medical receptionist at Planned Parenthood. I didn't really know anything about reproductive rights. I didn't really care. I just needed a job. I actually went in to get birth control, and before I knew it, I was working there. So my evolution and understanding about the importance of our mission has occurred over time. And what I've seen in that time, especially when I was rehired back at a different Planned Parenthood in California, I saw that same energy, that same passion for the mission. And I had worked other places in between, and I had worked at other healthcare places in between. And so I do think that there is something unique. We sort of have a joke amongst ourselves that we drank the Planned Parenthood Kool-Aid, because you become part of a family. And even when you step away from your family, somehow some of us keep coming back. And like Chelsea said, she doesn't plan to leave. I believe her. Because there is that one driving, we're all very clear that we have that one driving mission, which is service to our patients and service to a diverse range of patients coming from so many different places and needs, that keeps us in alignment, regardless of the struggles that we may have to overcome politically and otherwise.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else want to jump in, or any questions from the students?
I would just note that I do think that when employees join Planned Parenthood, we really do individualize and really want you to be successful. Like, you're important to us because you want to work for us. And like I noted, we also all come from different backgrounds, different degrees, different upbringings, you know, and somehow we all find our way to the same place doing the same mission. And once you join that family, if you're going to really get in it with us, we're going to really support your growth and development wherever you came from and whatever your background is, because we know we're all going to be better if we all really work to all of our strengths and we work together. And once you really feel that in a workplace, it is hard to leave, even on your most frustrating days.
Yeah, it seems like there's so many different entry points to get into the work. And once you're in, you are supported and encouraged to continue to learn and grow. So that's really beautiful to hear.
One department that I forgot to mention was our revenue cycle department. So billers, coders, people in the accounting department. We hire a lot of folks there, as well as in our call center, which we call our patient access center, call reps. Those are all really important positions as well.
Esmeralda had a great question. What's the minimum education requirement for any job in Planned Parenthood? And there's a wide range of jobs, it seems like, but maybe for those that are interested in the medical field, what are those minimum requirements? Christine, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Well, actually, this is what also makes, I think, us a very different healthcare organization, is that really you have to have an interest and some skill, meaning just as a person, be able to, be a draw on time, be a team member, really care about our patients. If you have those basic things, we have pathways where you can start as a medical receptionist, and we will help you get all the way to a medical assistant certified. And then from there, you can go to team lead. You can do healthcare, or, we have some specialized services if you end up interested in that, and you can go all the way from starting as a medical receptionist all the way to Sharon's job as a VP over time, if that's what you truly desire. So more the person, right, than a lot of degrees. But of course, if you are in the medical field and you have an MA medical certified, that's really helpful to us because we can make your track faster. But we can build a person from the bottom up to wherever they want to go.
Next question is, have you ever felt stressed in your job? And maybe to elaborate on that, what is the most stressful part of your job? Because I'm sure you feel it every day at some point.
Chelsea, you want to take
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So for me, the job itself is not stressful. And I tell all my colleagues, my staff members, the job itself is not stressful. It's dealing with different personalities. Working here, I can honestly say it doesn't feel like work because I enjoy what I do. So the stress part really for me is just because I'm a health center manager, I have to work with different personalities and what they like, what they don't like, what works for one person may not work for the other. So for me, that's the most stressful part of my job. When I was a medical assistant, there was no really stressful part of that. It's just learning new things and information overload and in a certain amount of time, because you want to get everything right. You want to do everything already and you want to rush yourself, but you really have to take the time. But for me, that's what the stressful part is.
How about you, Minerva? Maybe speak to medical receptionist even.
Yes. I think that, I don't know if I would call it stress, but it can sort of manifest itself like stress does, is when sometimes you're dealing with people that are definitely not at their best, right? And so you're taking on a lot. Compassion is part of our mission. And so there, sometimes you are dealing with somebody who is having the roughest day of their lives, and that does affect you. And it can, when people are not at their best, sometimes they're not sure how to communicate with you. And so you inadvertently become the punching bag sometimes. But that's true of any kind of job where you're dealing with humans who are vulnerable. And so I would say that as a medical receptionist, in that role, the stress is really just about trying to come to a solution for the patient, to make sure that they actually receive the care that they need, and trying to remove the barriers that you can remove for them. And, sometimes there are long days, sometimes there are, patient volumes and things like that, and people need to be seen. But I think of it as a stress that has a good ending to it. So you can be done and you're like, oh, okay, yes, we had a really busy day, but look, we helped all these people. So there's usually a happy resolution at the end of all of that.
I agree.
I would also note that we change quickly. We move quickly to stay up with our patients and making sure that we are providing what is needed at that time. So our level of change and growth happens very quickly, and sometimes that can be kind of stressful. Also, I have to say that we've had patient comments that just note that a patient coming into Planned Parenthood really expects us to be better than most. So our patients don't want to be let down, and they don't want us to be prepared, and they don't want us not to have the information that they need. So in order to really serve our mission, we are compelled to act quickly, learn quickly, implement quickly, and get up to speed and efficient quickly. And we really do run that way. So that's probably the biggest part of the stress of my job.
I'll just add that there is political pressure. Some view us as a controversial organization. So we maintain that awareness. And sometimes it does cause us to be in a position where we're, our political advocacy arm has to be proactive in terms of protecting reproductive rights, protecting the rights of our patients, so that our teams in the health centers can continue to serve. So that is an additional layer that most organizations do not have to contend with.
Thank you for that. I know we have a few more minutes, and so before we move on to the survey, which we're going to have the students fill out, can you just share a little bit about if someone is interested in getting involved, whether it's an entry-level job or volunteer work, which I saw there's an opportunity for that. What would you suggest our students do if they feel like they are ready to pursue and get involved in the work that you all are doing?
You are free to use any of the 4 of our names as a contact person. You know, we would welcome that, and you can just say that you attended this presentation. The human resources team was the group that referred us to participate in this event with you, and we're really happy that they asked us to do this. Normally it would be human resources representative, so we would not have had this opportunity to connect with you this way. So if you filled out an application and you put on your application that you attended this presentation with Sharon and Christine and Chelsea, Minerva, that would be a sort of a flag of an entry point that there's somebody who heard this presentation who must have been moved to want to check us out.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers for sharing their journey and the work that they do. It's so great to be able to hear from professionals out in the field.